Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am back with beautiful Kristine Kieland from US, and she's a psychic medium and multidimensional intuitive healer. And she can also help you with releasing all traumas, all pain, um, and help you with the growth of your spiritual journey. Welcome, Kristine. Thank you for being there with
It's a pleasure to be back with you, as always. Always,
yeah.
always.
So today we are speaking about Galactic Federation and Galactic Federation of Love, as I understand.
Mhm.
Please tell us about them.
Yeah, I love how you said Galactic Federation of Love, Galactic Federation of Light, Galactic Federation of Life. Um, they're, I'm just listening about, just adjusting to the vibrations that come in around me and come around you. And to be very clear, they want to say that they're a vibrational field, a frequency that's different than what some people are tapping into right now. Some people are tapping into like a shadow energy, saying that the Galactic Federation of Life is a detrimental energy, a detrimental, a distraction to people. And I worked with Galactic Federation of Light for many, many years. Commander Ashtar is kind of the one who communicates the most, if you want to have a voice to it. And it is actually a federation of many galaxies, races who come in, and they not only support the United States, not only support the Earth plane, but many other planetary systems. And what they do is they neutralize, they got a peacekeeping, they hold a vibrational field that does not allow. They're looking for the right words because we want to be very, very accurate. Allowing planetary systems to do whatever they're doing, but not crossing universal law, source law, God law, where you cause harm to another system. So whatever you're doing within your own system, it stays contained.
But are they different, life, light, and love? There are three parts to it, or three themes?
No, he just giggled and smiled because light is love.
Yeah. Okay.
Light is your life force.
Mm-hmm.
Love, pure conscious love is your force. But there, and I'm not aware of this, but I'm hearing it now. There are others out there in social platforms, perhaps, or blogs, where people are saying the Galactic Federation life is a misnomer, that it's not something to pay attention to. That's a distraction. And many people are coming in channeling more. It's really that you know the frequency and the vibration, and that you understand that you always feel good. You get in high vibration, you always feel good. And the Galactic Federation light, like I said, the face that I work with the most is Ashtar. It's Ashtar Command, and you actually see the ships. There's many ships that circle the Earth, circle other planetary systems. His team, they're able to neutralize things that would affect another planetary system. So for instance, according to the information we have had, I believe, since we released the atomic bomb, right after World War II, there's been 7 attempts, either missiles or something that will go outside of our system and would destroy our planet. And it's been neutralized. So it's almost like once the button's pushed, it's just neutralized, so it doesn't go anywhere. That's one thing they do. But it's basically support, lots of love, but that we don't interfere with other planetary systems, that we start to understand each other. These are wise beings. A lot of people would call them masters. They've had lots of life experience through all planetary systems, and they will never cause harm, never ever cause harm, but also are engaged to not let a lower vibration kind of like leak out into another planetary system. They don't interfere.
Yeah.
No, they do neutralize something that would harm our planet to the point of extinction, or another planetary system. But they don't interfere like a day-to-day life, like don't make this choice, don't make that choice. Like that's part of our evolution.
Okay.
So, not here to save us, here to support, guide, oh my gosh, there's so many beings in physical form on this planet that are in constant communication with Ashtar Command and the Galactic Federation. That, and more, like we talked earlier, more and more people can hold a higher vibration, hold a higher frequency, have a better connection, communication, understanding. So it's a lovely system that's in place to help us.
So are they like in the entire space of the universe, and like, can they provide some numbers? How many are they?
I say like 18,000 right now.
Oh,
but
wow.
that's a smaller fleet. I mean, there's a command, and then there's many, many fleets, and they come from light years away. So they exist in all areas of the cosmos.
Oh, wow.
All areas of the cosmos. And the Earth plane communicates, and this may be a limited view because you can't see it all, right? Ashtar is who the Earth plane communicates with the most. But there's lieutenants, and there's, I'm hesitating because they say our words aren't exactly accurate. We have like a hierarchy. So if I call it a lieutenant, that just means somebody who's aware of, they don't like to use the word in charge, aware of certain situations, and I'm focused, like what we would call a lieutenant, I'm focused on this part of humanity or this part of an evolutionary process. But there's no they don't consider, there's no hierarchy, there's no I'm better than you. Yes, we call him Ashtar Command.
That was my next question. Yeah.
I'm Commander Ashtar, but doesn't mean he says that just in humanity.
Yeah.
People like labels, they like to chunk things down. The Galactic Federation light, that was a way for people to understand that there is a galactic presence, a cosmic presence. We've had the last, I want to say 20 years, but probably the last 50 years, a lot of movies of alien invasions, and there's horrible people that are going to come. So it was a way for us to understand that that's not accurate. Yes, there have been planetary systems where they've like caused harm to themselves or to an outside system, and all those alien, nasty alien movies. That was actually a reflection of us, because we still, at that point, and somewhat now, don't understand how to have peaceful relations between different sexes, different gender, sex and gender, different races, different belief systems, and that anything outside of ourselves feels scary. And outside of ourselves is actually your own wisdom, it's your connection to source, it's connection to the cosmos. We all belong to the cosmos. So a lot of those movies were a reflection of our own fear of ourselves, but it was also a way to keep us from feeling comfortable.
People have been calling like Galactic Federation as the ET or the aliens, but they would also like to know, how do they look like, or they might really not have names. They're all different.
So, like when I see Ashtar, and he may present a little different. I see him with long blonde hair. He says, again, this is my representation of what makes sense to me, but he does look very human-like. Long blonde hair. I normally see him like a blue robe or a blue uniform. Sometimes looks like a blue uniform, pants and shirt. The eyes are like crystalline almost. The skin's very, very unblemished, I guess, very pure, very youthful appearance. But they come, there's Pleiadians, Arcturians, Alpha Centaurians. I can't think of the other.
So all the races are part of this main federation.
Yep.
But are there main leaders or owners to it?
So they're
mainly governing
different sectors, maybe different sections. And there's a lot of fleets. So people aren't sure if we call them spaceships. They're galactic ships. They're enormous. So think of U.S. Navy will have a gigantic ship. I don't know what they call them, but it has 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people on it. It's a city or more, and it's a U.S. carrier or something, right? So that's what they have. So they have many, many of them, and people, sometimes you see like a cloud may cloak it. Some people actually do get pictures of it. I know our country has a lot of information on it. Your country does too. Every country has information on it here. And there's pictures, there's recordings, there's communications. Basically, like very minimal is we don't have a consciousness yet for a real communication.
Yeah. Okay.
Space communication would not be good for them.
So that's why it's important to be hidden now. But
yeah, it's kind of cloaked. Yep. Yeah. And that's one reason, because for instance, if we woke up tomorrow morning and you saw 100 ships around the planet, right? What would be the first thing you do? Most every country would want to send a missile at them, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, no, we've done that. That's why we're masters. That's why we have the wisdom, because we've gone through many evolutionary processes. And part of the evolution is, oh, you're scary. I'm afraid of my survival, which we're kind of in the throes of right now, right? We're in a plane of duality, and that's playing out over the next, I don't know if it's next 100 years or 5 years, but things are very extreme. So they're like, we're not going to put ourselves in position to be compromised. But also, if you see them, then where's our free? It has the ability to take away our free will. Well, now you're here, you're safe, right? I don't need to do anything. If I'm starving, I can get some seeds and go plant some food, right? Or I can share with my neighbors, or I can wait for someone to come feed me. So, and there's nothing wrong with either scenario, but
right.
Perhaps it's better to do for ourselves, right?
True. We'll become lazy. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So there's multiple reasons, but they're very loving, very, very wise. There's scientists. So there's scientists on board that study like our anatomy, study the anatomy of other beings. There's biologists. There's chemists. I'm trying to think, like, who works with plants. That understand the plant kingdom.
Botany.
Yeah, botany. Botany. That's the word I was thinking of. So there's many areas of interest.
Great. I've worked with scientists too, so it's good to know all of them. And
yes, and who works with tech? There's some that work with technology. There's medical ones. There's and they scratch out. They say there's medical and there's health.
Oh.
So there are teams that work with what's our medical system, and some's wonderful and some's not aligned with health. So there's technology that does wonderful things, and there's technology that can be harmful to our physical bodies, to our environment. So they're aware of all, and it's like a continuing processing data.
Okay, great. So do they come to help people if they're called? On an individual basis?
Not so much like the whole federation. Like the federation, they have their job. I mean, they kind of like stay safe. But there are people belonging to the federation that either take physical form and animal form.
Oh.
Animal form too. And they assist. Now, there are lots of galactic beings that will answer a call. And I'm not saying that the federation won't, but it's more of, yes, they're telling me now. There are, like you would call they just say we're the support team. They show me like CNI dogs and therapy dogs. So they're a part of the Galactic Federation that will have communication with people on Earth or other planetary systems and will answer calls. It's like, they show me like, they're kind of funny. So they show me like answering at a switchboard. Yes, we answer the call. Yep.
Great. So apart from Ashtar, anybody else is there? Like, is Ra, who lives on Sun, part of Galactic Federation?
Yeah. Yes. So that's a name they're familiar with. That's a connection to a certain segment that relates to that name, relates to that vibration. So within the Galactic Federation of Light, and they love that you said Galactic Federation of Love, that there are many different, many different identities for people. It's really the vibration frequency. So within this vibration frequency, it's a frequency that the Federation holds.
Okay. Like the books which...
much different than that.
Oh.
And then within that frequency, like Ra, there will be, so it's almost like listening to different languages, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So it'll relate to you. So if I relate the best to this frequency through my language, my energetic language, that's who I would connect to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
But they say we're guides. We're not seers. We are seers. They do see the overall what's coming up, but they want to make sure that that we understand their guide and their support. They're
Okay.
not our answers.
Got them. But in which dimension are they?
Oh, about 11.
Okay. Wow.
About 11. I mean, they can hold, like they drop down to our frequency, right?
Right.
They go through all the dimensions, right? They hold space in all the dimensions. They say for us to have wisdom in all life experience on your planetary system and life experience throughout the cosmos, we need to be able to communicate in all different dimensions. But we maintain about 11th dimensional field. We can go up to 13th, there's a 14th, I see up to 17 dimensions, but mostly people talked about 13th dimension. They say we need to be able to go up and down, communicate. Our technology needs to be able to go drop down. He said, isn't that a feat? Taking the technology, 8th, 9th, 11th dimension, and be able to drop it down into a lower dimensional field and still hold the communication system. So there's not a glitch and there's not a break in the communication.
Wow. So I've also seen some people who are on Earth currently are part of like helping out with the environment or the nature, trees, or changing of climate, be it rainbows or rain, and they're communicating for that also, or the level of oxygen.
Yes. Yep. And so the rays are part of the Galactic Federation says we're aware of all. We're aware of all, and we work with all. The rays are very helpful. I see 12. I see 14 rays, but I know there's 7 main rays that people talk about. But another thing they want to talk about today is that there's talk of, they call invading other planets, colonizing other planets. It's funny, I don't listen to the news a whole lot, but I had the radio on the other day listening to like a national news program, and they were talking about there's a moon landing, or there's a international space station, right, where different countries work together, and they said, visit us, but don't try to colonize another country. Don't try to invade another planetary system. This is you would not like if we landed with a bunch of Palladians or Arcturians or Alpha Centaurians, and we said, there's a million of us, we're coming, we want your space now.
Yeah.
That's actually a violation of universal law. You wait to get invited in. Our consciousness now is not completely, but most of our consciousness now does not understand the invitation part, does not understand like
the big picture.
When we want to go to space, we think we're the smartest, we're the greatest, it's that hierarchy thing, right? So that they just want to make it clear that no invading another planet, come visit, but you're not taking over. And there's a consciousness right now that wants to take over, expand. And they said, you don't understand your own planetary system. Like you talked with the plants and the climate and all that. And understand that climate is cyclical. Climate changes through eons. We're now in an Aquarian age. So the climate's going to be different in the Aquarian age than it was in the Pisces age. But it's very good that we're paying attention to how we affect it. But also it can be a bit of a distraction from yourself if you're worried about climate change, what we call climate change.
Yeah.
Understand it's an evolution of the planet, just as it's an evolution of us. And as we balance out our energies and balance out our emotional field, the weather actually gets more temperate. So you won't have 30 below in one part of the country and 130 in another part of the world and 130 in another part of the world. We'll start to get more temperate climates over the next, decades. It's not so much climate change as is evolutionary change.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they watch things. It's like they watch the gases on the Earth.
Yeah.
I interpret it. They watch the atmospheric pressures, the atmospheric, just how things work, and like in a blink of an eye, they see how the ice age came through, and they see how all the climate changes. That's weather patterns, but climate changes, and like polar ice cap. Is this even what you want to talk about? Because they'll just keep, there's a scientist in front of me. We'll just keep talking about this I think you have other questions too.
Yeah, mostly, I'm shocked because all the questions that are coming in my mind, you already answered, and you're continuously answering them before even I can speak. So that's fantastic, and I can see that they are already reading my mind.
Yeah, want to know. So, and as they say, we are the most loving, and then when they say most, it's not like they're but I have a limited English language. But they say we are truly, 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 blessed to work with you, blessed to be part of your consciousness. Now we have always existed. Since your planetary system's been evolved, and we are a very young planetary system, the Federation has been with you. And please understand, the Federation came together because of galactic wars. We were destroying each other. We weren't wise. You get wisdom through evolution. And a beginning evolutionary being, you don't know yourself. You forget you forget your part of source, where you come from, and you're in survival mode. When you're in survival mode is greed and fear and hate, because I'm afraid if I don't, like we talked earlier about the garden, if I don't have enough, I'm going to steal from you. I see you have technology that would be really interesting in my life, but I don't know how to get it, and I don't trust that we can have a communication, and so I'm going to steal it from you. And if I steal something that's harmful, it's really not understanding the power of energy. It's not understanding what is created from an intention.
Yeah.
And so that's why we consider them masters, because they've gone through it all. And they're like, whoa, let's put the brakes on. Let's have like a peace treaty among the planetary systems. As we all evolve, we will cause no harm to one another. And then I have the wisdom from this planetary system, from Pleiades, or this planetary system from Alpha Centauri. Let's bring it all together. Let's bring the wisest of our beings together, of what we would call every part of society. So a philosopher and a scientist and a medical, we would consider medical person, what we would consider military person. And then overall is Ashtar Command. And they're not telling me this, but I would not be surprised if later on we find out there's more than what we're aware of.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there like only Ashtar is the main commander, or there are others as well?
That I know of. I mean, that's what I've always been told over the last 10 years, that Ashtar he's the face of it.
Okay.
He's the lead, what we would call the lead commander.
Yeah.
What he is actually is our point of contact. He's just our point of contact. Yeah. So he says, well, we consider one, we say there's a commander. He says, there are many commanders because we have overseen of, you could maybe consider us the wisest. We hold the most wisdom. But Earth and other, you need a point of contact.
Oh,
and
great.
So many channels, if I have 100 channels or 1,000 channels across the planetary system, if you all say we're communicating with Lord Ashtar and the Commander Ashtar, well, then that makes sense, right? Because we're all getting the same information from the same point of contact. He said, you see how even, I don't call myself Lord Ashtar. He says, I don't call myself Lord Ashtar, but it's to you, it's an elevated title, right? Yeah. King, Lord, Commander. He says, I'm Ashtar.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And next to me is my brother. He's just saying Stephen, but I can't, here's my brother. Here's my sister. We don't consider ourselves commanders. We consider ourselves wise beings who have retained experience and have made choices of what would be a better experience for the all and what would not be such a good experience for the all. So again, they're very careful with their words.
Are Indian gods and goddesses part of the Federation? Anyone?
No. Oh. No. Only because that's a different, not in the form you see them.
Yeah.
Like angels they have their own vibrational field, right? Mm-hmm. God and goddesses have their own vibrational field. They have different wisdom to share. There's different support system. They're not excluded. They're just not really interested.
Okay.
Gods and goddesses are, they say no, they don't really participate. Yeah.
So they are more on helping on individual levels.
Right. Yep. And God and goddesses help people with belief systems. They help people, they're cultural. They help with cultural. They help understand what we consider masculine energy, feminine energy. They help sometimes understand different kingdoms and different realms, but they're not really part of their federation.
Oh, okay. So is there any other governing body even above them? Like, I mean, in terms of dimension?
Yeah.
Or like they directly...
Really, because I mean, I'm not saying there's not, because there's always more, right? There's always more that we're not aware of yet. But no, it says we really hit all the dimensional fields.
And directly communicate with source.
Yep, communicate with source. And, I say there's 18 dimensional fields. I know there's a lot more than that.
Wow.
I know there's more than that. I cannot
hold that above that limit.
I don't resonate with it. So yeah, that's my limit right now. So he says, but we're limitless.
Yeah.
And beyond us would be, we'd consider beyond, is another layer of wisdom. And that layer of wisdom doesn't need like ships and doesn't, he says, even though we're part of the all, we are still categorized. Like I said, we have a scientist over here, and we have a philosopher over here, and we have, a health person, medical person, we have a plant, botanist. So even though we're working it all, we still have separate identities. And eventually there's no identity because it's just the source and all. But yeah, for our practical purposes today, there's more than us, but we're not talking about it. Basically what he says.
I can understand, yeah. So, but how is their life about? Do they go about their normal life? They have anything like that?
So they're showing me, it's a little bit like, he says our best approximation would be a little bit like Star Trek.
Okay.
A little bit like Star Trek, or I haven't watched any other shows, so I don't know. But yeah, it's like you will see a ship and we sit at a control table, a technological table. It is
like
not in the way we think of physical. Yeah. Because the higher dimensional field doesn't have the same matter. So it's really more like a hologram thought that they project to us so that we understand it.
Yeah, yeah.
But third, fifth dimension is
more like energy balls only, right?
That'd be much more accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be more accurate.
And they're like all light bodies, so obviously they don't need to do anything else.
Right, they're light bodies. Even the ships are, like more of a plasma energy. But what they say is, they have different technology than we have, right? So plasma body, just like we do, we have a plasma body, light body, and as you go into the interdense field, we start to form matter, right? And then we start to form a body and hair and limbs and arms, and so we have a body to contain our energy. Their higher dimensional field, 11th, 10th, 9th, their plasma energy starts to take physical form. So they get down 6th, 7th, 5th dimension. That's where you actually see a ship, because they're creating matter. The lower their field goes. So it's like the matter dissolves the higher you go up, and that's where you just see the light. That's where you just see the orbs. You just see the energy.
Yeah. So even the ships are then light bodies.
Both. So it's both.
Both. Wow. Great.
Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
It makes perfect sense.
But don't they have a desire to merge back to the source energy?
They say we're never unmerged.
Oh.
That's our misinterpretation, that we have to go return
because
to source.
We are in physical bodies, right?
Right. You are source. So you're source in different forms. Yeah. A tree is source. I'm source. You're source. A fish is source. A galactic being is source. Angelic being is source. It's just different identities.
True.
Different way to express source. To have different experiences, but there's no returning to source. there's a, remembrance of love, perhaps, a remembrance of, and even that they say it's just like a teeny tiny, a thimble full of an understanding. But
Wow.
please, he also says, please don't diminish this experience as being less than, or like, don't rush through this experience. Return to source. Just keep embodying more of the source energy. Keep embodying more of your angelic wisdom. Keep embodying more of your galactic wisdom. Embody your plant wisdom. Embody your animal wisdom. Like there's so much wisdom and love on this planet. We are one of all.
Yeah.
Our technology, to what I'm aware and what I'm being told, doesn't have the capability yet to actually look at our DNA and see that it contains all. We're close, right? So I think if a biologist or somebody would look at it and look at a human cell, they'd see there's a tree information there, and there's plant information there, there's angelic information there, there's galactic information there. We just don't have the capability yet to see that. But that's what we are. We are the all.
Wow. And it's said that there is a grid around the Earth they have made to protect the Earth. But what is this galactic war about? And should we fear about it?
No. I mean, I don't, and we're not, to my understanding, what they're telling me right now, we're not participating in galactic war. Our war is on this planet.
Yeah.
We don't need to go someplace else to create a war. We are in war amongst each other right now.
But can outside war affect us?
No, because that's what the Federation does.
They protect us.
So it's as if they just neutralize it. So like just vaporizes. So something comes at us, which we may consider a missile or an energy. It's really an energy form of consciousness that comes at us that wants to destroy or wants to overtake or wants to. It's a lot of overtaking. It just gets neutralized. On the same token, if we send anything out, it gets neutralized too.
I got that. Wow.
Yeah. So the grid around us is that no harm comes either way.
Wow.
So it's for instance, like if you have, it'd be like you had a shield around you, right? And if I went to punch you, it would come back and I would reverberate on me. And if you went to punch me, the shield is still there and it would reverberate on you. So the neutrality is what the Federation does.
Wow. And is there like a time period to them?
No.
Time does not matter.
No. I mean, what I see is just a circle. So if I look to find like what we would consider millions of years, they say, yes, there is a beginning of us because we had to come together to realize we have this wisdom. We have the same intent. But time is illusional. It's just something they say, think of it in times of like 3 billion years.
Oh, okay. And are there more of them incarnating on Earth? No.
Yes.
And they have specific purposes?
There's always been galactics incarnating, right? Always. And they have their bottom line to evolve, help humanity evolve.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
there's ones coming in that will help rejuvenate the physical body.
For humans?
For humans, yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And like even the more technology that is coming in from centuries, it's been considered that aliens come and give us a lot of technology, not only thoughts and wisdom, but the space
technology
they've given us.
Yep. And then it's like, what do we do with that technology? So a little bit's even sourced out a little at a time. And it is through our own free will. We have our own intelligence. So it's not like, not like we're these dumb beings that don't understand anything, right? But there's a system. So if I have something that works, it helps evolve it quicker. Like the internet, right? That helps evolve us quicker. We're in duality, so it does both.
Right. And for Earth now, it's said that more and more of that duality is ending. So how much like we're moving more towards love consciousness.
Yes, right now we're peaking. And again, I don't know if this means, I don't think it means 1,000 years. I don't think it means 200 years, but it could be, it feels like 30, perhaps 2030 looks like a big year to me.
Yeah.
To have it totally dissolved, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not getting that. But we're peaking duality.
Okay.
And duality, black and white, right and wrong, up and down, belief systems, up against each other. Every specter of our life is in duality right now. But it's not forever. But this system was based on duality. So how do you work with duality? Well, right, we have night and day. So would we want to get rid of night and day?
No.
Most people would say no, right? Most would say no.
Yeah.
So it's how do we work within duality in a more loving way, in a more conscious way? That's really what to me, that's what the next 1,000 years are about.
Oh, wow.
How can I look at you and say, wow, you have such a different perspective on life, such a different belief system. Maybe your belief is no children. Mine is I should have children. Maybe yours is, I'm just going to stick with that one, right? Maybe that's it. That's not wrong. But right now it's like your belief's so different than mine. How could you not do this? How could you do this? How do we live in harmony, coexist? How do I know a tree is a different form, but I'm not going to take every tree on the planet and make something that's convenient for me? How am I going to let another species survive? That's what living with right now, this planetary system, we desire to live in duality. Not all planetary systems live in duality. I always call this planet a master class. Always. Because we learn and we evolve so much through this process.
Our future generation has a lot to see beautiful things and learn in a different way, a different perspective.
When I look out, honey, it is, it's a mess right now in a lot of places, right? It's a mess. But when I look out, it is so exciting.
Yeah.
It is so light-filled. It is so loving. It is so expansive in what I would term a better way. The awareness, the acknowledgement, the enlightenment. I see the illumination from it. And that's really what the Federation is. We are illuminated beings. We illuminate ourselves. I'm not going to you to find my illumination, to find my light, to find my wisdom. I have it. And once I have it, I share it.
Beautiful.
That's what we're going into. We are already experiencing it. We're just going to expand it more.
Wow. Yeah, I can see too. Yeah, beautiful. And so any other planet similar like Earth? Anyway?
Not in about it's similar, about 4 galaxies out.
Oh, okay. And any specific name?
It's smaller. I don't have a name for it. It's I'm not getting a name. Sorry. There's a linguistic trying to help me here, but yeah, this is a pretty specific experience.
Wow. Okay.
It's a pretty defined experience. But what they're telling me is there are other planetary systems, being like that small one I can see. There's a desire to start new with polarity or duality.
Over there.
Potential of another system being formed, or it's already in place. I would consider it happening or already happened. Yes, smaller systems. But how do you live with duality, but taking some of our wisdom? So now we have some of our wisdom keepers becoming supports and guides to another planetary system. This is how you live in duality without causing harm.
Okay, great.
We haven't really mastered it yet, right? Some have, but mostly we haven't mastered it yet. So it's a potential.
Oh, great. So everybody working together in a way, yeah. So what basically people think is that aliens should come and show how good they are, so that people will try and love them more and the fear can go away. Maybe they can land a ship and come and talk nicely, but people will not let that happen, or somebody or the other will misinterpret it in a wrong way.
Until we have that mastered amongst each other, they're not
Yeah.
coming.
They're not.
They're not physically landing. They're not going to land in the White House or your, in your country, because we have a hard time looking at one another.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't know where you're living, but the violence has increased.
Yeah.
The hatred's increased. But it's also but the love is also being increased. They're both. It's like two mountaintops, right? And in the valley. So that potential can be here tomorrow. We can meet our galactic brothers and sisters. We can have a beautiful feast, a beautiful, but we're ways.
They're not ready. Yeah. We're not ready.
We're not ready. We're not ready. Yeah. They're ready. But they're not foolish.
Yeah. So true. So any last messages for India, what they see for India future?
For India. The last thing they said was, do not quit sacrificing your wisdom keepers.
What does that?
So like we crucified Christ. We crucify people for holding great wisdom. But for India, tumultuous times for about the next 5 or 6 years. Because and that doesn't mean that's just kind of a blanket statement, so but tumultuous times because there's a lot of inner turmoil within the country, within each person within the country. And I don't know what's going on in your country per se, but it's, the soil's erupting and changing, and extreme belief systems. Some of the old cultural ways are leaving, not because there's anything wrong with them. There's just an evolutionary process. Is this still our best? Like,
so anything politically, or you're talking about
there's a system in place. Looks like layers, like extremely poor, extremely rich, extremely educated, extremely, they're just saying the extremes are going to play out for a while, and then come into more of a middle, more of a helpful stance. And they're showing me the hierarchy too. So, but wonderful things going on in your country too. Political, they kind of shut my mouth a little bit. The potentials, it's truly like in every other country, what do the people desire? And getting to know what your own desire is, because it becomes part of the collective. There's a potential for some really, destructive unrest on a political scene, but even as they say that, from my perspective, that sounds horrible, right? It sounds horrible. But is that a way of an evolutionary change? Is that a quick way to revolutionize your country? Perhaps. Does that make sense for what you know about your country?
Yeah.
Okay, so the revolutionary change that's coming may look disastrous on face value, but it's not. It's kind of like, how do we quickly change the slate?
Change the views.
And get different leadership in.
Okay, great, got that. Yeah. So grateful.
India looks like a golden state, has a lot of gold energy coming in, a golden country, a lot of gold, and it's people, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to anybody, but as people come into their own awareness of themselves, and this may sound really stupid, but a lot of worshiping of others out in your country, correct? Like Christianity or other things. So not worship others, but it's more like
believe in our power. Believe in us.
Eliminate the word worship, and just how can I, because worshiping is like, you're here and I'm here. It's diminishing yourself.
Yeah,
and
too much.
As the people in your country realize that I'm not a lesser being, I actually have, I'll listen to your experience.
Yeah.
It's not wrong. They're saying it's not wrong, but there's an evolutionary process going on in the country.
Yeah. Slowly, a lot of people are realizing that, but it'll take time. I can see.
And all over the world, right? All over the world.
Yeah, it's so true. Uh, Wonderful. So I'm grateful to all the Galactic Federation and love beings for these wonderful messages and being here today. Thank you, Ashtar.
They're very grateful. They say we are very welcome, sister. Welcome to sister to our foundation for because honey, you visit us. You visit us on our what we call our ships, and you're very familiar with us. That's why I asked Kristine to be with us today, because you are one. We are one and the same, and you're one of our foot soldiers. So as you do your awakening, your awareness, and you expand your love, and every time you send out a vibrational love, and you're already seeing it in your own physicality, then it's like another golden thread.
Wow.
And we're weaving between two planetary systems, multiple dimension. We're weaving this connection of love and expansion and wisdom. So you have different wisdom than I have different wisdom. Neither one's right or wrong, but let's connect them. Let's make them the best of all. And thank you for inviting us into your chat show. And we are always present. We're always available for communication. And we love, it is our desire to support your system in our highest and best way with all of our diverse knowledge.
Wow. Grateful. I'm grateful too. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you, Kristine, for being here.
Yes. Thank you. Lovely. Always good to be with you.